Kondo. Who doesn't like Marie Kondo? She's so nice, she's so sweet, she's so petite. But I gotta say, there are some parts of her books that don't spark joy with me as a professional organizer. Stick around, I'll tell you why. Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, thanks for stopping by. In today's video, I am going to talk about the life-changing magic of tidying up by Marie Kondo. And I have read it cover to cover. You can obviously tell. And if you look inside here, I've got all these little pages dog-eared for points she made that I either strongly agree with or maybe I have some concerns about what she has said. Now I want to say up front in this video that this is not a criticism of her method. Anybody who knows me, who has watched all of the videos I have on this YouTube channel or has come to any of my speaking engagements, I will be the first one to tell you organization does not have a cookie cutter like solution. It is different for everyone, and I will stress that over and over. What works for one person may not work for another. So what I say about Marie Kondo's ideas, I want you to take it with that in mind. You might agree wholeheartedly with what she is saying, and that is perfectly fine, and I will support you for that. However, there's a lot of people I know that absolutely can't follow certain things she says in this book. So I'm hoping you take from this video differing views and pick which one works for you the best. So sit back, grab a cup of coffee, and let's dive into this book. So I always like starting off on a positive note, so I thought I'd bring up a point that I agree wholeheartedly with Marie Kondo on. And on page 10, she titles it, "You Can't Tidy If You Never Learned How." Now this is a very important point. So many people come to me and they go, I don't know why I just can't get organized. Like anything else in life, it's something that sometimes you need to learn. Now I might have knowledge on certain things in life, but that doesn't mean I'm proficient at them or that I could make a career out of them. For example, I fully understand the concept of weight loss, about calories in and calories burned and how many calories equals a pound. I can recite so many facts about it. Can I do it myself? No. For some reason, I need a professional helping me. And if you've watched my weight loss video, you will know it takes a lot of work to get it through my head. So don't beat yourself up if you can't figure out how to get things organized around your home. I love how Marie Kondo continues to say on the page, she says, "It's true that while instructors in schools offer courses in everything from cooking to yoga, you'll be hard-pressed to find classes on how to tidy." So true. I really do think it would be helpful for high schools to include some type of life skills course in their curriculum. Okay, moving forward. All right, then we move to page 12. And in that she says, "A tidying marathon doesn't cause rebound." Now, if you've watched the Netflix series of Marie Kondo, you will know that she is a marathon runner with her organization. On those shows, I have watched people take an entire month or even longer just dedicating it to overhauling their entire house. And that's based on her idea of a marathon doesn't cause a rebound. Personally, as a professional organizer, I tend to disagree on this point with her. I often think that organization is a lot like weight loss. If you notice in weight loss, anyone who does a crash diet where they lose a lot of weight really quickly, they tend to rebound that weight back really quickly, and a lot more comes back on with it. I've seen the same thing happen time and time again with people who do this big overhaul in organization. There's a real thing called decision fatigue, and when you are organizing at about the 2 to 3 hour mark, I will often see this glaze come over my clients' eyes when they're making a lot of decisions on what to keep, what to toss, what to donate, or if it's something that has a lot of meaning like sentimental items, that fatigue can come up really fast. So when you do a marathon, oftentimes that will produce decision fatigue, and when you get decision fatigue, you do not make good choices. I've noticed that when my clients start getting fatigued, they'll say things like, "Oh yeah, just get rid of it," or they'll say, "Oh no, I gotta keep everything." Everything suddenly becomes super important to keep. That's because they're too exhausted to make the best decision for them. So by doing marathon sessions like she is promoting in this book, that leads to a lot of regret about decisions made. So again, if a marathon works for you and you're comfortable with the decisions you might make, even if you're tired, fine. Absolutely, I'll support you doing this. But my personal way of organizing is that you take it in smaller chunks so that the decisions you make you can live with without regret. Okay, and then continuing on with that idea, on page 19, Marie Kondo goes on to say, so I can tell you from experience that you will never get your house in order if you only clean up half-heartedly. Again, that goes back to her marathon session. So yeah, this marathon idea really doesn't fly with me personally. It's like trying to run a marathon without ever taking a step outside your home. You'd collapse. Like with running, you want to build up gradually. You don't want to go out running 26 miles the first day. You build up running maybe a quarter of a mile, then a half mile, that sort of thing. Same thing with organizing, okay? I always tell people start with a drawer if you have to get used to it. So the next thing Marie Kondo brings up is on page 24. She says sort by category, not by location. And I agree and disagree with this point. I agree with the idea about sorting an entire category if possible. When dealing with any category in your house, you want to see all you have before you decide what you want to keep, toss, and donate. How do you know if you want to toss this one item if you don't know there's a duplicate item in another location? So I strongly agree with her on that fact. You want to get as much of that category in front of you as possible. The part that I kind of disagree on is that there are circumstances where people will store items in a different area because it's for a different use. Let's take clothing, for example. Oftentimes I've had clients that will put an off-season set of clothing in a different closet in a different location. So it wouldn't make sense to me to drag all that out-of-season clothes in to do with the main sort. In that circumstance, it's fine to do by locations. But I have seen on Marie Kondo's Netflix show where she will have people bringing all their out-of-season clothes in with the main sort. I would say at that point, sort what's in season, what's in front of you, and then deal with the out-of-season clothes that are in a different location later. Okay, so this leads us to page 26, where Marie Kondo says, don't change the method to suit your personality. Oh my gosh. This is where I will say I 100% disagree with Marie Kondo. Here's the thing. If you don't match your organization with who you are and your habits and how your life rolls, you are going to set up systems that fail you. Everybody is different, okay? Everybody's lives are different. Everybody's personalities are different. Everybody's habits are different. And if you don't honor those differences, any organized system you set up in a home is doomed to fail. You don't want to set up systems in a home that fight who you are. It takes weeks to change just one habit. And when you set up systems around a house that makes a person change multiple habits, it doesn't work. The needs of an older person who's maybe retired is vastly different from that family that has two young kids running around the house creating all sorts of disaster as they go. You can't put the same system in both places, all right? The other thing that I really strongly disagree with Marie Kondo in this is she says on page 26, when it comes to tidying, the majority of people are lazy. I take issue with that. My experience is that the majority of the people I come into contact with, their life has taken a sudden turn, unexpected turn. There's been a divorce suddenly, there's been a death suddenly, there has been a move. To say that when it comes to tidying, the majority of people are lazy, I kind of take a little offense with this statement because here's the thing, when I go into homes for the first time on a consultation, these people are racked with guilt, thinking there's something wrong with them or they did something wrong to have all this disorganization around them, when it often was some kind of life event that kind of threw things out of whack for them. It was unexpected, it happened quickly. That was the cause of the disorganization, not that they're lazy. And to sit there and call someone lazy in the book, that really rubs me the wrong way. I don't like that term at all, and I think it just sets people up to be more ashamed of their clutter instead of, once you figure out how it happened, you can find a solution. If it was because of a move, let's find out what circumstances are causing the disorganization and let's fix it. It is not laziness. It's just that they don't know where to go sometimes because too much has happened. I've had that happen in my life too, personally, where I had several deaths happen in a decade. I moved, I got married, I had 3 kids. Holy cow, my life was in 1 decade. Disorganization loves when that happens to people and it just takes root and grows. It has nothing to do with laziness. Marie Kondo goes on to say, I came to the conclusion that it makes far more sense to categorize people by their actions rather than some generalized personality trait. Again, you have to match their personality if you're going to have a successful, maintainable organization system set up in their home. Let's take clothes, for instance. My personality hates to fold. If you've seen these videos, you know this already. I would rather have a root canal than to fold clothes. And if you are going to make me fold, I can guarantee you there's going to be clothes on the floor, there's going to be clothes over a chair, over the exercise equipment. I am not going to fold those items. So I had to set up an organized system that allowed me to do what I didn't find so displeasurable. I hang all my clothes and I put all my undergarments in cute little decorative baskets. That works for me and my closet is impeccable. So to say that it makes more sense to categorize people by their actions rather than their personality, you got to honor that personality. Just saying. Then on page 28, she goes on to say, tidying is a special event. Don't do it every day. I'm taking it that she wrote this book before she had children. Show of hands. How many people can clean their house and have a child walk in and within, I would say 15 seconds, have it look like a tornado went through? You put a toddler into any room and you are going to be tidying constantly. A child can destroy a room in less than 15 seconds and no event, like she said, is going to change that. The idea is set up systems, organized systems that make tidying faster and easier. End of rant. She goes on to say on page 29, by successfully concluding this once-in-a-lifetime task, you will gain the lifestyle you aspire to and enjoy a clean and orderly space for your choosing. It's not a one and done. Organization takes maintenance. I think this is setting you up to think that can happen and you're going to be very disappointed. And then she says, until you have completed the once-in-a-lifetime event of putting your house in order, any attempt to tidy on a daily basis is doomed to failure. I have dishes that build up in my sink daily. Okay, if I don't tidy that daily, it's going to become a really nasty mess really fast. The idea is when you set up an organized system that the tidying takes less time, less effort, and is easy to do. And then she goes on to say on page 35, I ask that you adhere faithfully to the following rule. Tidy in the right order. Do not even think of putting your things away until you have finished the process of discarding. Yes, 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 I agree wholeheartedly with you, Marie, on that. You have to go through the sorting and the discarding first before you even consider putting anything away. There is an order to organizing. Remember the word space, S-P-A-C-E. Sort it first, purge it next, assign a space for it, containerize it, and then finally E is equalize, meaning moving forward it's the maintenance. Equalize it. If you bring one thing in, one thing has to go. Okay, remember the word space. Sort, purge, assign, containerize, equalize. That is the right way to do it. So I wholeheartedly agree with you, Marie. Do not even think of putting your things away until you have finished the process of discarding. Absolutely. Coffee time. Okay, on page 36, Marie Kondo says, before you start, visualize your destination. Oh my gosh, I am so with you, Marie, on that. When I'm working with clients, I often ask them to close their eyes and envision their dream room. What functions does it have? What does it look like? How does it feel walking in there? And then I have them open their eyes and I say, look around. Anything that doesn't match that vision you just had, out it goes. You have got to have an idea of that end point in order to figure out a path to that end point, okay? So yes, 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 Marie, I agree wholeheartedly. Thank you for bringing this up in your book because it is so important for you to envision what you're going to do with that room before you actually start doing it. Okay, then later in the book, Marie Kondo goes on to talk about how to select what to keep. And I have to tell you, this woman has changed the world with her Spark Joy idea. And I absolutely love it. She coined the best phrase for it. You want your home to be a safe haven. In order to achieve that safe haven feel, you need to surround yourself with what truly sparks joy. Now, every item in your home will not spark joy. Okay, my washer and dryer, they don't spark too much joy with me. Don't like doing laundry. Those items don't spark joy. My toilet brush, definitely needed in my house, does not spark joy with me. I'm not talking about those items. When it comes to all the clothes you're keeping, all these sentimental items you are keeping, the concept of sparking joy is brilliant. It says it all. That is your criteria for what you keep. Okay, you surround yourself with the things that spark joy, and your home will become the safe haven, the happy place you need it to be. If you need to grab a cup of coffee at this time, go ahead. We got some more pages to talk about. Another idea that I agree 100% with Marie Kondo on is, she says on page 44, starting with Mementos spells certain failure. Oh my gosh, yes. Again, I will make the analogy of the marathon. You don't run the marathon right off the bat. You practice. You start with walking, then you start with jogging a little, then jog a quarter mile, half mile, and build up. Same thing with organizing. You don't start with the hardest thing, and the hardest thing to organize is sentimental items. When I'm working with clients, we often seek out the area that's going to be the easiest with decisions. So if you have a closet full of sentimental items and a closet full of office supplies or something like that, we'll often start with the office supplies first to get a practice in on how to make decisions, and then we move to the more difficult sentimental items. Get those decision-making skills up to a level that can handle sentimental items. Now, I had to laugh when I saw on page 46, Marie Kondo wrote, clothes are the easiest because their rarity value is extremely low. I have been in a lot of women's closets where they put extreme value on those clothes. Oftentimes, the value of their clothing outranks some family members, okay? So again, I think that's a personalized thing. I've had women who have almost been near tears going through their clothes. So it isn't necessarily the easiest, okay? The next topic Marie Kondo addresses is what to do with the items that you are purging or giving away. And on page 56, she says, if you want to give something away, don't push people to take it unconditionally or pressure them by making them feel guilty. Oh my gosh, yes. 100% agree with Marie Kondo on this. I've seen so many clients literally try to guilt their family into taking items. Here's the thing. They really don't want to get rid of the items, okay? But they can't think of a reason to keep it. So in order to delay that final decision, they really will push and guilt their family members to take items. Then Marie Kondo goes on to the tidying order on page 64. Again, the wording she's using, I really do not like. She says, even those who are lazy or messy by nature, even people who have descended from generations of slobs, or who are excessively busy, can learn to clean properly if they use the KonMari method. Again, first of all, calling people lazy and slobs really rubs me the wrong way. In my experience as a professional organizer, not one person would I ever categorize as a slob or lazy. It is totally the opposite. It is they are so overwhelmed and busy with what's going on in their life that is why there is so much disorganization and clutter. Alrighty, then we come to the part where my personality strongly disagrees with Marie Kondo again. She states on page 72, I strongly recommend folding as the main storage method. She's talking about clothes, folding clothes. I rather have a root canal than fold clothes. So I'm sorry, please do not tell me that folding is the only choice and it's the best choice, because it's not the best for me. You make me fold, my clothes are going on the floor, they're going over a chair, or they're going over the treadmill that is collecting dust, okay? I'm not doing it. That's all I got to say about that. And then she says, hanging just can't compete with folding. My closet is impeccably neat, tidy, and organized, and not one item is folded. Not one! Here's the thing, she explains about the folding of the socks and the folding of the underwear and how you put it in so beautifully, and you can open the drawer and go, wow, that's beautiful. Okay, I just have a question for everyone out there. How many of you go and show the world your underwear drawer? I mean, really, company comes over, do you go, hey, I gotta show you my underwear drawer. It is beautiful. I can't understand the idea of making underwear and socks look pretty because the only one who's gonna see it is you. Organization is achieved if you can find what you need when you need it, and any task you do is fast and easy. Having your underwear folded into these tiny cute little rolls, I don't see the purpose, because even when you put them on, you know, it's like, it doesn't need ironing, it doesn't need folding, it's just throw the underwear in a drawer, okay? Here's the thing, if you need to divide it between maybe everyday underwear and, you know, more formal or sexy underwear, whatever, you can get those little drawer dividers, okay? But I really don't see taking the time to roll it beautifully into these cute little sausage rolls into your drawer. I don't see it. Like I said, separate categories, yes. You know, you have your exercise underwear, you have your daily underwear, you might have your formal or whatever underwear, but you don't need to roll it up, okay? That's just me, that's my personality. I'm not putting this on anyone. If you get joy, if it sparks joy to roll your underwear into a little sausage link, go at it. I support you 100%, and I will tell you, I do know the Marie Kondo method of folding things. So if you are a client of mine and you want to do it, I'm there folding side by side with you. Even though I'd rather have a root canal than fold, I will still support you in that because your organized system has to match you. Enough said. Okay, there's other parts of her books where I think it's more of a cultural idea coming through, and her culture, it works. I know she talks about sorting or storing socks, and she says treat your socks and stockings with respect. Personally, for me, I do respect what I own in that I take care of it, okay? I don't talk to my clothing, I don't thank it, I don't do the things, I guess my way of thanking is that I just take care of it. I mean, I don't trash it or anything like that. I do take care of what I own because I do feel that if I'm keeping it, it's worthy of being kept, and in that respect, I guess it's respect. She says never ever tie up your stockings, never ever ball up your socks. Again, I will go to a personal preference. If you want to ball up your socks, you know, I've seen people where they, you know, turn one into the other and they throw them in. If that works for you, that's fine. You're not disrespecting your socks by balling them up, okay? I personally don't even go that far. Again, lazy folder, I will admit. I don't own such a wide array of socks that I have to keep them separate. You know, I'm pretty straightforward, very simplistic. So I can throw all my socks into this bin about this big, and I can see what I have and get what I need when I need it. So that works for me. I do not see balling your socks up as a sign of disrespect for socks. That's not to say for everyone it doesn't work, and if that is your culture, I support you 100%. Okay, on page 89, Marie Kondo talks about unread books, and she has a little subtitle under it. She goes, sometime means never. Oh, you hit the nail on the head, Marie Kondo, with that statement. Let me take a moment just to talk about the real you versus the ideal you. Now, I did a video. I'll try to remember to put a link either up in an iCard or down in the description box below. That summarizes the real you and the ideal you. The real you is living in the present. What's going on in your life at this moment. The ideal you is the you living in the future. The I might need it sometime you. I always ask people, is it worth the disorganization you're seeing all around you in the present, worth holding onto that item for the very slight chance you might need it sometime in the future? And there's two ways you can help yourself decide that. I always say envision what will happen if you do need that and you have already gotten rid of it. How will you deal with that? What do you need to do? Will buying that item again break your budget? If you can replace it in under 20 minutes for under $20, go ahead and let it go and take that chance. Marie Kondo goes on to talk about sentimental items on page 114. And on 115, She uses her phrase, "Does it spark joy?" I am an absolute huge fan of her spark joy idea. It has been a game changer in this country when it comes to dealing with sentimental items. The only other thing I'd like to add to the spark joy idea is to ask yourself when you're looking at that sentimental item, is it the item that is special or the memory it represents? And if you say that it's the memory it represents, then take a photo of that item and then let that item go. The photo will act as your memory trigger. You do not need the item. Only keep the sentimental item if it is truly the item that is special. Another point that I agree wholeheartedly with Marie Kondo is on page 130 when she talks about designating a place for each thing. Absolutely, when you are organizing your home, there has to be a home for every item in your house. Disorganization comes from not having a proper place for your items. Once you have designated a space for that item, it is so much easier to maintain. And if you throw a label in that space saying, hey, this is what goes in that space, it helps your family recognize and learn that this is where you have to put it back. Another idea that I agree 100% with Marie Kondo is when she says on page 135, storage, pursue ultimate simplicity. Yes, yes, yes. You want the simplest way to store something, the easiest way to get to it. I always tell people organizing is as easy as knowing how to kiss. Keep it super simple. I'm almost to the end. We're almost there, people. Almost to the end of the book. Stay with me. Okay. I love on page 162, Marie Kondo says, decorate your closet with your secret delights. I know I personally have frames with inspirational sayings on them. I have some sentimental items that I like to see daily. And your closet is a great place to put those little special nuggets of your life in. Because again, you're starting your day off, you're getting dressed. Why not have things that inspire you, that spark joy, or start your day with a loving feeling? So I'm all about putting those kind of decorative touches in a closet. I also agree with Marie Kondo on the very next page on 163 where she says, unpack and detag new clothes immediately. Hundreds of closets I have walked into where there are tags hanging off the clothes. And I will expand on this too. If you are bringing clothes home from the cleaners, get them out of those cleaner bags immediately. Switch them over to the hangers you are using for all the rest of your clothes. Do not leave those thin, wiry, paper-covered hangers hanging in your closet. It just makes it look so cluttered. And it's not good to keep your clothes inside that bag after you've brought it home. So take off those tags from the store right away, and also take off that plastic covering and hang those clothes back up on your regular hangers. Okay, towards the end of the book, Marie Kondo starts talking about appreciating your possessions, and I'm in full agreement with appreciating what you have. If it's valuable enough to stay in your house, it's valuable enough for you to appreciate it and take care of it. However, this is where more of her cultural background comes into what she is saying. And she was even suggesting, she said, try saying thank you for keeping me warm all day to an item of clothing. And you've seen on her Netflix show, she tells the people to thank their clothes before discarding them. And I understand her background and where she came from, and in her culture that might be very important to her. I will default in my suggestion of doing what works for you. Many people have said it makes them uncomfortable. And again, if that is your culture, that is fine to do. Just do what works for you, okay? And if saying thank you to your clothes really doesn't appeal to you or you feel uncomfortable doing it, just do what works for you. I love how she says on page 174, put your house in order and discover what you really want to do. When you achieve organization in your home, you have so much more time to do things. You have so much more money to do things with. Your stress level goes down. You will finally have time to do what you want to do. I also think Marie Kondo brings up a really good point when she's talking about discarding items, the attachment to the past, or your anxiety about the future. That's really talking about the reason we keep items, our attachment to the past or our anxiety about the future. Organization comes from living in the present. If you hang on to stuff because of anxiety about a future event, or you hang on to stuff because of attachment to the past, it only leads to disorganization. So understanding your attachments to the past or your anxiety about the future goes a long way into figuring out what truly needs to be kept in your home. Marie Kondo goes on to explain that idea in more detail, and on page 186 she talks about what if we find we needed an item that we have discarded. And I like how she goes first because they have already pared down the amount of documents they own. They can quickly confirm that they do not have it without having to search all over. Very good point. When you have less to search through, you can find out you don't have it a lot quicker. Okay? But then she encourages turning your focus on how to replace those documents. She says on page 187, if it's gone, we can shift gears immediately and start thinking about what to do. We can ask someone we know, call the company, or look up the information ourselves. Here's the thing, we get panicked about that one idea of not having it, whereas if you just go one step further and start thinking about what you can do if that happens, sometimes you can find that I have resources. I can figure out what to do if I don't have it. If it's an item that you use regularly and maybe not like a document like she's talking about here, I've had clients go on Facebook and just say, hey, anybody have this that I can use for this one time? And you wouldn't believe the tidal wave of responses. Yeah, you can come borrow mine, you can come do that. If you just think past that fear, what will I do if I find I need that at a later date? You will be more comfortable with letting that item go. Address the what ifs. What if it does happen? This is what I'm going to do. Focus on the solution, not the fact that it's gone. Okay, so there you have it. I know this is a longer video than I normally put on this channel, but there was so much wonderful content in this book, and there are some ideas that I think might create some problems for you. So I wanted to offer you several takes on the idea of organization. Organization is not a one-size-fits-all solution. I strongly feel that organization needs to fit the person's personality, their habits, their lifestyle, their living situation. I think there are a lot of factors that go into affecting that. And it was just my feeling after reading the book that she is really pushing people to a perfection of organization, and perfection is the kiss of death for organization. The more you strive for perfection, the less organization you will have. Done is better than perfect. Being able to find what you need, when you need it, and that you can find it easily, that is better than perfection. And an interesting point to bring up is that she says the magic of tidying up. There's a difference between tidy and organization. I even did a video on it, and I will try to remember to put the link down below or up in the iCard up there. Tidy refers to the appearance of something. Organization tends to lead more towards the function of something. So just because something is tidy doesn't mean it's very organized, all right? And likewise, something that's very organized may not appear tidy. So if you're talking about organization, that's about function and simplicity of the task. If you're talking about tidy, you are solely talking about how something looks. Just something to keep in mind. So like with any book, you don't have to take every word literally. Take the ideas, the concepts maybe, and fit them to your specific need. That's the way you achieve the best success. And I want to make it really clear, I do not dislike Marie Kondo's ideas. I actually love many, many, many ideas she introduces in her book. I'm just saying that there are certain ideas that she presents in this book that if you follow it literally, it might set you up for failure and the disorganization will come back. And I'm worried that at that point you will blame yourself for it not working when the system maybe wasn't right for you. So take the ideas that work best for you, and if something doesn't work, be okay with that. Because again, I have met so many people who blame themselves for the disorganization, when in fact, it was the organized system that was set up that was at fault. Match who you are, how you roll, what's going on in your life, take into account the house you live in. All of those factors greatly impact the system that you are going to set up in your home. And if you honor who you are, the organized system you set up will last a long time. And here's one other thing I want to point out. You might set up an organized system that works perfectly now, and in a couple of years, suddenly the disorganization will start to grow again. Be aware that life changes. It's constantly evolving. If you have children, every 2 years, the organized system you have will start to fail. Why? Because your children are growing. They're entering a different time in their life. They have different needs as they grow up, and things that worked in the past now don't work as well. So you have to constantly tweak your organized system to match what's going on at that time. Okay, I know this video is a lot longer than what I normally do. There was just so much great information in this book, and there was also some warnings that I really wanted to share with you. My goal in this video was to just provide you with enough tools to create the best organized system for yourself. If you did find the tips I shared in this video helpful, please let me know by clicking that like button below. And if you're new to my channel, I'll tell you most of my videos aren't quite this long moving forward. If you enjoy watching organizing videos and want to learn all sorts of tips, tricks, and strategies to get the job done, go ahead and click on that subscribe button, and don't forget to ring the bell next to the subscribe button so that you know when I'm uploading new, maybe shorter videos. I'm Pam with Organizer EZ911. See you next time. Hey, thanks for watching my video. Here's another video I think you might enjoy. And YouTube thinks you might like this one as well. And for more organizing tips, be sure to follow me on my socials. All the links are found below.